Welcome to Travel Guides. In this essay, we will guide you on why you should travel to New Zealand. New Zealand is a country that defies easy description. It's a place where nature runs riot, where the scenery changes with dizzying frequency. One moment you're driving through rolling green hills dotted with sheep, the next you're confronted by snow-capped mountains. New Zealand is a country of two main islands, the North Island and the South Island. Each has its own distinct character. The North Island is warmer with volcanic landscapes and Maori cultural experiences. The South Island is cooler, wilder, with its stunning southern Alps and fjords. Together they form a country that's roughly the size of Britain but with only a fraction of the population. What strikes you first about New Zealand is the sheer emptiness of it. There are vast stretches where you can drive for hours without seeing another soul. The air is so clean you can almost taste it. So buckle up, dear reader, as we take you on a journey through one of the most beautiful countries on Earth. New Zealand's landscapes are nothing short of miraculous. The diversity is staggering. In the space of a day you can go from sun-drenched beaches to mist-shrouded rainforests, from rolling vineyards to active volcanoes. Let's start with the mountains. The Southern Alps run like a spine down the South Island, their jagged peaks dusted with snow even in summer. The most famous of these is Aoraki Mount Cook, New Zealand's highest mountain. It's a sight that never fails to take your breath away, especially when reflected in the turquoise waters of Lake Pukaki. The Remarkables near Queenstown live up to their name, rising dramatically from the shores of Lake Wakatipu. New Zealand's native bush is unlike anything you've seen before. The ancient kauri trees in Northland are so massive they make you feel like an ant. The beech forests of the South Island are straight out of a fairy tale, their moss-covered branches twisting in eerie shapes. The central North Island is a wonderland of bubbling mud pools, steaming vents, and colorful silica terraces. Tongariro National Park, with its trio of active volcanoes, looks more like Mars than Earth. It's a stark reminder of the powerful forces that have shaped this land. While New Zealand is full of hidden gems, there are some attractions that are famous for a reason. First on this list has to be Milford Sound. Rudyard Kipling called it the eighth wonder of the world, and it's not hard to see why. This fjord, carved by glaciers during the ice ages, is a masterpiece of nature. Sheer cliffs rise vertically from dark waters, waterfalls tumble from dizzying heights, and the whole scene is often shrouded in mist. A boat cruise through Milford Sound is an experience you'll never forget. Keep an eye out for seals basking on rocks and dolphins playing in the wake of your boat. Another must-see attraction is the Waitomo Glowworm Caves. Picture this. You're floating silently through a dark cave, the only light coming from thousands of tiny blue-green lights on the ceiling. These lights are actually larvae of a species of gnat, but the effect is pure magic. The caves themselves are impressive too, with stalactites and stalagmites that have taken millions of years to form. For a different kind of wonder, head to Rotorua. This city, built on a geothermal field, is a hotbed of activity. Geysers erupt with clockwork regularity, mud pools bubble and belch, and the whole place smells faintly of sulfur. The most famous geyser is Pohutu, which can shoot water up to 30 meters in the air. No visit to New Zealand is complete without experiencing Maori culture. The Maori are the indigenous people of New Zealand, and their history, traditions, and art are an integral part of the country's identity. The Maori arrived in New Zealand over 700 years ago, navigating vast distances across the Pacific in canoes. One of the best places to experience Maori culture is at a mare, a traditional meeting ground. Here you might witness a pauhiri, a formal welcome ceremony. It's a powerful experience even if you don't understand the language. The fierce expressions, the rhythmic chanting, the stamping of feet, it all combines to create an atmosphere that's both intimidating and deeply moving. And then there's the famous haka, a traditional war dance that you might recognize from New Zealand rugby matches. Maori art is another fascinating aspect of the culture. The intricate swirling patterns of Maori carvings and tattoos, known as te moko, are not just decorative but tell stories of ancestry and identity. You'll see these patterns everywhere in New Zealand, from traditional meeting houses to modern buildings and even on the national rugby team's jerseys. And let's not forget about the greenstone Pounamu jewelry. These beautiful jade-like stones are considered taonga, treasures, by the Maori, and make for a meaningful souvenir. Many Maori-run tourism experiences offer a chance to not just observe but participate in cultural activities. It's these experiences that will give you a deeper understanding of New Zealand's unique cultural identity. If you're an adrenaline junkie, New Zealand is your playground. This country seems to have been designed with adventure in mind. Let's start with the obvious: bungee jumping. New Zealand is where commercial bungee jumping was born, and there's no better place to take the plunge. The most famous spot is probably the Kawarau Bridge near Queenstown, where you can jump from the place where it all began. But if that's not high enough for you, try the Nevis Bungee, New Zealand's highest at 134 meters. How about skydiving over Lake Taupo, with views stretching all the way to the volcanoes of Tongariro National Park? Or whitewater rafting down the Kaituna River, including a 7-meter waterfall drop? For something a little less intense but no less thrilling, try zorbing. This uniquely Kiwi invention involves rolling down a hill inside a giant inflatable ball. For those who prefer their adventures a little closer to the ground, New Zealand offers some of the best hiking, or as the Kiwis call it, tramping, in the world. The most famous of these are the Great Walks, a series of premier tracks that pass through some of New Zealand's most spectacular scenery. The Milford Track in Fiordland National Park is often called the finest walk in the world. Cycling is another great way to explore, and the country has invested heavily in cycle trails. Whether it's kayaking in Abel Tasman National Park, sailing in the Bay of Islands, or surfing at Raglan, there are plenty of ways to get wet and wild in New Zealand. New Zealand might not be the first place that comes to mind when you think of beach destinations, but it should be. With over 15,000 kilometers of coastline, this island nation is a beach lover's paradise. And the best part? Many of these beaches are practically deserted. You could have a stretch of golden sand all to yourself. The diversity of beaches is astounding. From the black sand beaches of the West Coast to the white sands of the Bay of Islands, there's a beach for every taste. One of the most famous beaches is Hot Water Beach on the Coromandel Peninsula. Here you can dig your own spa pool in the sand at low tide. Hot water bubbles up from underground springs, creating a natural jacuzzi. Another unique beach experience is at Cathedral Cove, also on the Coromandel. This beach is only accessible by foot or boat and features a massive stone arch that frames the sea beyond. Kaikoura, on the east coast of the South Island, is one of the best places in the world to go whale watching. You can see sperm whales year-round, and depending on the season, you might spot humpback whales, blue whales, or even orcas. You can swim with dolphins in the Bay of Islands or Akaroa Harbor, snorkel with seals in Wellington, or even dive with sharks in Stewart Island. For a truly unique marine experience, head to the Poor Knights Islands Marine Reserve. Whether you're a beach bum, a water sports enthusiast, or a marine life lover, New Zealand's coasts have something for everyone. For many people around the world, New Zealand is synonymous with Middle-earth. Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit trilogies showcased New Zealand's landscapes to the world, and fans have been flocking here ever since. The good news is that many of the filming locations are open to visitors. The most famous of these is undoubtedly Hobbiton, the movie set created for the Shire scenes in both trilogies. Located on a sheep farm near Matamata in the North Island, Hobbiton is a slice of the Shire brought to life. The attention to detail is incredible. From the perfectly round doors of the hobbit holes to the vegetable gardens and the clothes hanging on the washing lines, everything looks as if Bilbo Baggins might pop out at any moment. The tour ends at the Green Dragon Inn, where you can enjoy a specially brewed ale or ginger beer. But Hobbiton is just the beginning of the Middle-earth experience in New Zealand. Mount Doom, the volcano where the One Ring was forged and destroyed, is actually Mount Ngauruhoe in Tongariro National Park. You can hike past it on the Tongariro Alpine Crossing, one of New Zealand's most popular day walks. The Pelennor Fields, where the climactic battle in The Return of the King was filmed, are near the town of Twizel in the South Island. The beech forests around Paradise near Glenorchy stood in for Lothlorien, home of the elves. The landscapes that made Middle-earth so convincing on screen are even more breathtaking in person. New Zealand's food scene is often overshadowed by its natural beauty, but it deserves just as much attention. The country's cuisine is a reflection of its diverse landscapes and cultural influences. At its heart, New Zealand food is about fresh, high-quality ingredients prepared simply to let their natural flavors shine. The country's long coastline means seafood features prominently. Green-lipped mussels, bluff oysters, and crayfish, lobster, are particular delicacies. Lamb is another New Zealand specialty. The country's rolling green hills are perfect for raising sheep, and New Zealand lamb is renowned worldwide for its tenderness and flavor. New Zealand's fertile soil and varied climate mean it produces a wide range of fruits and vegetables. Kiwi fruit, of course, feijoas, and tamarillos are some unique local fruits you should try. And let's not forget about the dairy. New Zealand's cheese and ice cream are world-class. The country's wine regions produce some of the world's best Sauvignon Blanc, particularly in Marlborough.